UFO community has been aflush with big news, starting with a brand new USO/crashed UFO, which has literally just been exposed to the public, but it was already kind of exposed, but then the details got a lot clearer. A Swedish deep-sea treasure hunter has just come forward on Jesse Michaels' podcast, American Alchemy, right? And has exposed that they discovered, essentially, an enormous UFO at the bottom of the Baltic Sea. Obviously, this is incredibly exciting to me, so I wanted to make a video about it to talk about what he discovered. So obviously, this wouldn't necessarily be labelled a UFO or a UAP. This would be classed as a USO, an unidentified submergible object, okay? Because it's submerged underwater, but it could be a UAP that crashed there. Obviously, the context of the situation we're going to talk about right now. So over on Jesse Michaels' YouTube channel, he recently dropped the YouTube video, "We found a UFO at the bottom of the Baltic Sea, treasure hunter Dennis Arsberg," right? It was dropped a day ago, and it's racked over almost 300,000 subscribers in a little over a day, which of course means that people are really talking about this and really are interested to see what's going on. Now, Dennis Arsberg is a Swedish deep-sea explorer, entrepreneur, and CEO of Ocean X Team, a company specializing in underwater expeditions for shipwrecks, historical artifacts, and mysterious seafloor anomalies. And boy, did he find one. He was born and based in Stockholm, Sweden. And he's a seasoned diver with thousands of logged dives. Known for his passion for uncovering, quote, lost civilization and mysteries of our planet, Arsberg describes himself as an explorer and entrepreneur who has faced significant personal and professional challenges in pursuit of groundbreaking discoveries. Now, his work blends treasure hunting with scientific inquiry, often pushing into controversial territory like potential UFO-related phenomena, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Despite skepticism from mainstream scientists, Arsberg has built a global following through media appearances, documentaries, and social media, where he shares his expedition footage and teases revelations. Now, obviously, that's a little bit about Arsberg, Dennis Arsberg, because you need a little bit of context as to who we're talking about here to know what we're on about, right? But what he's claimed in this podcast with Jesse Michaels, right, is actually mind-boggling to the point where this is quite the significant, turn, and it really enforces the things that Tim Gallaudet, who was the Rear Admiral who's come forward and has been a part of the UAP congressional hearings in Congress, has stated, and he's really kind of reaffirmed a lot of the things that he's said. So the story behind this claim, right, stems from a recent episode of American Alchemy, which was aired on November 15th of 2025, which of course is hosted by Jesse Michaels, where Swedish treasure hunter and deep-sea explorer Dennis Arsberg discussed his team's discovery of a mysterious, get this, 60-meter, which is around 197-foot object on the Baltic Sea floor. Arsberg, who is the co-founder of Ocean X Exploration Team, described it as a massive disc-shaped anomaly that exhibits highly unusual characteristics, leading him to speculate it could be a crashed UFO or some form of non-human craft. This isn't a brand new find, though. It's tied to the infamous Baltic Sea anomaly, and first detected by Ocean X in 2011. But Arsberg's interview adds fresh details from recent dives and analysis, reigniting speculation about this craft. Now, let's give a bit of background on the Baltic Sea anomaly. So, it was actually discovered back in June 2011, while sonar scanning for shipwrecks in the northern Baltic Sea, which was the Gulf of Bothnia, about 90 meters or 300 feet deep. Ocean X's team, led by Peter Lindberg, and including Arsberg, captured a grainy image of a 60-meter circular object with straight edges. What appeared to be a quote-unquote staircase and a 300-meter runway or trail leading to it. Initial media hype called it a potential UFO crash site, drawing comparisons to the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. Now, the location, the coordinates are kept somewhat secret by Ocean X to prevent interference, but it's roughly between Sweden and Finland, or so it's believed to be. There have been previous expeditions, so divers in 2012 reported equipment failures, for example, jammed cameras, failing electronics near the site. And the diver claimed the water temperature dropped dramatically from -4 degrees Celsius to near from 4 degrees Celsius to near freezing, which of course is sub-zero. Samples collected including granite and gneiss rocks, which experts attributed to Ice Age glacial deposits. Now, no definitive artificial materials were confirmed from the site. So here's some key details about it. So the shape and size, it was believed to be a 60-meter black disc detached from the sea floor, not embedded like a rock, and features jagged right angles, corridors, and moldings suggesting artificial construction. The surface markings are apparently inscribed triangular symbols on the top. Electromagnetic effect, so it disrupts GPS, sonar, compasses, and electronics within 200 meters, and storms and lightning reportedly cluster directly overhead. There was also some kind of quote-unquote breathing phenomenon as well that took place. So a diver observed sediment, which he quote-unquote inhaled and exhaled through sediment that inhaled and exhaled through holes in the structure, like respiration. And the local temperature dropped to 0 degrees, impossible from that depth and pressure. And age and context. So it was believed to be buried under Ice Age segments, which is about 14,000 years old. But with features predating known human technology, nearby World War II wrecks show no similar effects whatsoever. Now, you're probably wondering, what does this mean and why is this relevant if it was found back in 2011? There are some recent developments, especially surrounding crowdfunding and new dives. So there was relaunched efforts back in 2024 to try and visit this site. There were testing breakthroughs like in 2025 in July when Arsberg posted a cryptic video transcribed from Swedish claiming scientific data from Villarreal's work showing incredible things. Obviously, Villarreal is the lady that's been able to kind of prove through vetted and now published papers that there were things in our atmosphere prior to the Sputnik program, which of course was our first ever satellites in orbit. What put them there? Well, that's what we hope to find out. So obviously all of this kind of beautifully amalgamates together. But this clip really kind of hammers home Arsberg's, expedition essentially.
I mean, if you just list the anomalies, you have biological material in the Dead Sea.
Yeah.
You have right angle corners.
Yeah.
You have an object that's 180 meters, so it's very big.
Yeah.
You have, it's hard. You see that's detached from the seafloor. You have electromagnetic anomalies that it's causing. Then you have thunder conducting, hitting it. Yeah. I think that's extremely, and then you have a team of people who have been diving for decades.
Yeah.
All having tons of data points, and they've never seen anything like it. So I think that's very worthy of investigation.
Yeah.
And so some people might be wondering, because you described it as a round object, but it also had right angles, and right angle corners and stuff. How does that work exactly?
It's not a flat, disc as many perhaps think. It's a quite rough surface around it.
Okay.
And then you have these corridors and angles. So, and it's not round in the corners. It's rough. It's perhaps it's broken.
Okay.
I have been there for a while.
So the circumference is 180 meters.
Yeah, but
roughly.
If you look at from upside, it's round, but still
there's some jagged right angles and stuff. Yeah. And right angles in a way where it's not just a little sliver or whatever. It's like longer right angles that imply artificial construction.
Yes.
Fascinating, man.
Yeah, it is, for sure.
It's insane.
Have you seen all the remote viewers have done all the things about the Baltic Sea?
No,
viewers?
Have they?
Remote, yeah.
When we were in Sweden, I called Joseph McMonagle and Angela Ford, and they helped us with this retreat.
Okay.
So we should, I don't have reception, right? Or do
No, we don't have any connection.
I was going to say, I could easily call them. Well, what did they say? What did the remote viewers say?
Oh, that is constructed, and it's, some have said it's made of gold.
Really?
Yeah, it's some kind of energy source.
Really?
Yeah.
For energy source for what?
I don't know.
So which remote viewers say this?
There are lots of it. I can send you the link of.
Oh yeah,
but,
please. I'm gonna write it down.
But the cool thing is also when the Finnish guy, our colleague from Finland, was here, he mentioned, okay, this is man-made. This must be constructed. It's and it looks like it's a high voltage thing. And I just high voltage. So that's like something that put out high voltage, like power.
Who said that?
The Finnish guy.
Whoa.
And I have it on tape also.
That's amazing.
I have it on tape.
It's quite incredible. It's quite an incredible find. So I really hope that they dive deeper, pardon the pun, dive deeper into this and discover what this actually is, because everything seems to point to it being not of this world, not a natural created thing, and something far beyond the capabilities of us as humans, which excites the living shit out of me. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments while you're down there. Jump to get the hell out of that like button and subscribe. If you want to check out the full episode, you need to go over to Jesse Michael's YouTube channel. It's over there. It's about an hour and a half long. It's a very good watch. Then we've got NASA, right, which is obviously one of the biggest space programs in the world, shutting down their live stream from the ISS after something weird came into frame. So yesterday's NASA 3i Atlas live stream was eventful, wasn't it? Because, long story short, right, they went live on November 19th in the early hours for me, but in America, you know, it wasn't, to share the latest images of the interstellar comet 3i Atlas. And then it was abruptly shut down when something weird came into shot, and now the internet is going absolutely mental. Let's talk about it. So, long story short, right, on November 18th of 2025, during the NASA live stream from the International Space Station, which was part of an ongoing observation of the interstellar comet 3i Atlas, the feed abruptly cut off when viewers spotted what appeared to be a strange unidentified object entering the frame. Now, this has sparked, as you can imagine, widespread speculation online, echoing past NASA UFO controversies, but NASA attributes it to routine technical issues, because of course they do. So what happened, right? So the broadcast was part of NASA's High Definition Earth Viewing, or HDEV for short, an experiment on the ISS accessible via their live feed portal, and it was airing around the evening in Greenwich Mean Time, showing external cameras of the space and Earth. Around the 1 minute 59 second timestamp in archived clips, approximately 10 minutes before the cutoff in real time, viewers noticed a faint bright spark and anomalies materializing against the cosmic backdrop near the comet's projected trajectory. Now, it's circulating in a 70-second video clip, and a dark, elongated or irregularly shaped object described by some as a floating rock or orb or debris field slowly drifts into view from the edge of the frame, and it appears to move deliberately, with some claiming it exhibits non-ballistic motion. For example, sudden changes in direction or speed, fueling UFO theories. Again, this is going mental. The object is partially obscured, but shows subtle color shifts with a white or yellowish tinge, and it's positioned near what looks to be the comet's faint tail or path. And the feed then flashes, quote, technical difficulties message, and then goes offline for several minutes before then resuming. Now, the video has circulated absolutely everywhere, right? But this was the message that NASA put out over on Twitter. That's not it. For some reason, this is what NASA put out. We're hosting a live event on Wednesday, November 19th, to share the latest images of the interstellar comet 3i Atlas collected by several NASA missions. So this is what they put out. But this, this is what we ended up with, was this video clip right here. So it's about 70 seconds long. Take a little look at this. You can see it just here. Now, to look at it on the surface, you're probably thinking, well, it's just a comet. It's just another asteroid. It's just, you know, something drifting through the sky. Which is exactly what people probably would have just assumed it was until it was completely shut down. The live stream was shut down, and then the temporary difficulties and technical difficulties, like, warning came up. And then people suddenly returned and were like, whoa, well, this is something that we clearly weren't meant to see. Otherwise, they wouldn't have taken the stream down. And this was someone who was reacting to it at the time, right, when they saw this little comet thing.
Will be recorded here. It's this, man. I moved back, as you said. It's this, isn't it? Freaking weird, man. This is from the live feed from NASA right now. I just moved back. I don't know what is it. It's freaking weird. Do you have any explanation for this? Artifacts. Optical. Are we having a collective optical illusion?
Now, you know, whatever it is, we don't know. Now, the kind of thought that came into my head was, oh, it just kind of looks like space debris just kind of moving through the sky. But NASA, why would they take down a live stream if it was just debris, you know? Now, the speculation and reaction publicly is arguably what's kind of sparked this entire thing to go mega insanely viral. So the incident went mega viral on X, of course, within hours, with posts garnering hundreds of thousands of views. So people shared the clip, of course, showing the object and then the cutoff, which received over 2,500 likes and 300 reposts. Conspiracy-focused accounts also amplified that with captions like, NASA abruptly cut off the live feed when the mysterious object appeared, and a Reddit thread on the r/UFOB, where users claimed, my heart is throbbing, literally just captured 10 minutes ago, WTF is this? Now, NASA at this current time have actually, they've issued no statement with regards to the cutoff whatsoever as of November 19th, but similar past incidents like the 2016 ISS feed, they've denied deliberate censorship, blaming signal loss for the satellite handoffs, solar interference and maintenance. A spokesperson also noted in related briefing that the streams like the HDEV are uncrewed and prone to glitches, especially during comet observations involving high data throughput. So this is probably going to be no different. I wouldn't be surprised if they just kind of turned around and were like, oh yeah, you know, it's just one of these things, you know. So a lot of people are obviously speculating about what this could possibly be. Is it alien debris or is it something else? Now, the skeptical view is likely space debris, okay? So that's kind of the skeptical kind of point of view. Ice particles from the ISS or camera artifacts and the object's motion matches known orbital junk. And cutoffs are common when streams go offline about 20% of the time, all right? So when you kind of put that into perspective, obviously, there's that. But I would be remiss to not go down the intriguing angle, right? So the 3i Atlas is odd behavior, like the hyperbolic path and no tail despite activity, and has Loeb speculating that it could be tech from another system. If the object ties in, it might explain the mass loss as fragmentation, okay? Now, obviously, I don't expect NASA to come out and say, oh, yeah, you know, we cut off the feed intentionally because we were concerned about this. They're just going to turn around and say, fuck knows. Your guess is as good as ours, guys. Does anyone know what this thing could possibly be? And that's exactly how I plan them, can foresee them going. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that NASA are hiding something? Do you think that it's just space debris and that it's just kind of noise online for the sake of noise? And then we've got good old Donald Trump, who may be the guy, apparently, to deliver us the greatest UFO news that we've ever been waiting for. So it would seem that Donald Trump might be the guy when it comes to UFO and alien disclosure, as TMZ and multiple other sources have put out that Trump knows all about extraterrestrial life forms, and apparently this is coming from the Age of Disclosure director. So the Age of Disclosure, of course, is one of the biggest documentaries to come out, and it's really stirred up a lot of talk about UFOs and aliens, and it's really kind of brought it into mainstream media. It isn't just this kind of taboo topic anymore, where people look at it and are like, do you know what? Yeah, tinfoil hat wearing conspiracy theorists only talk about aliens. No, it turns out that, well, apparently a lot of other people are talking about it as well. And there's other articles as well coming out that apparently in recent interviews, David Grush mentioned that President Trump is well briefed on UFOs, and apparently previous presidents before Donald Trump, including George W. Bush, knew of the 1964 alien contact with humans in New Mexico. Right? Like, this is huge. So we've got a lot to talk about in today's video. So let's kind of get into it. Now, first of all, obviously, we're going to talk about the TMZ article, right? Because the TMZ article is arguably one of the bigger ones to come out recently. Came out on November 21st, 2025, and it was entitled, "Trump Could Be the One to Confirm Alien Life," says documentary director. Now, it's a short piece focusing on the claims made by Dan Farrow, who is the director of the newly released UFO documentary, The Age of Disclosure. And the story has since gone viral, sparking discussion across social media and other outlets about potential government disclosure on extraterrestrial life. However, it's important to note up front that this isn't a direct report of Trump breaking the news himself. Many people have kind of gone with that. It's speculation from Farrow based on unnamed sources tied to the promotion of his film. Now, there's no official confirmation from Trump at this time, or his administration, or the White House as of November 2025 about aliens, because obviously, if there was, that would be an even bigger story. Now, these are kind of the key focuses of the article. So Trump's potential role. So Farrow asserts that President Donald Trump might just be the one to confirm the existence of extraterrestrial life, and he claims it has become aware of the base facts about humanity's place in the universe, implying non-human intelligence, and that his team is actively trying to decide a course of action on how to handle this information. So that's kind of Trump's potential role within this. Then there's the connection to the documentary. So The Age of Disclosure, which premieres on SXSW in March of 2025, alleges that an 80-year global cover-up of non-human intelligence life and a secret war among major nations to reverse engineer advanced technology of non-human origin. Farrow interviewed 34 US government insiders, including military and intelligence officials, from the film. And he told TMZ that the documentary is, quote-unquote, on Trump's radar 100%. And sources from the film, plus external ones, informed him of Trump's briefings on UAPs. So, obviously, that's quite a big deal. Now, Trump's past stance. So the piece references Trump's mixed history on the topic. During his 2024 campaign, he vowed to declassify UFO files if re-elected. However, in a 2024 Joe Rogan interview, Trump said he's, quote, never been a believer in UFOs, but added, quote, there's no reason not to think that Mars and all of these planets don't have life. So obviously, very contradicting statements there from President Donald Trump with regards to aliens and stuff like this. So, to put it in a nutshell, the director of the Age of Disclosure documentary basically is of the understanding that Donald Trump is very well aware of what's going on, as he usually is, and a lot of people have kind of stated that presidents, right, and this is coming from insider sources and stuff like this, I can't remember who stated this, I think it was David Grush might have even said it, that presidents are also on a need-to-know basis when it comes to UFOs. They don't actually get briefed on it. It's like, here's what you need to know, but all the details are kept from the presidents as well. So this is like even more secretive than what presidents are able to know, which is insane to think. But this interview has also kind of come out recently, which shows that a recent interview with David Grush and how he mentioned that President Trump is well briefed about the UFOs. However, a few years back, NBC News did this news segment on the former Israeli space security chief, H. Eshed, mentioning that the US and Israel have been in contact with the Galactic Federation. Yeah, this is a genuine thing, ladies and gentlemen. Take a little listen to this.
Aliens exist and President Trump knows about it. That's according to Israel's former space security chief. In an interview with an Israeli newspaper, he said the aliens have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are. NBC News chief global correspondent Bill Neely explains this one.
Hi, Alison. Well, this is quite a story, and it comes from the man who headed Israel's space security program for nearly 30 years. Chaim Eshed is making the extraordinary claim that the United States and Israel have been in contact with a group of aliens for years. Not immigrants, but extraterrestrials. He has called them the Galactic Federation of Aliens, and he says President Trump is aware of the existence of these aliens and had been on the verge of revealing their secrets, he claims, but was asked not to do so by the Federation in order to prevent what he calls mass hysteria. Well, the retired general says the US and Israel have kept it from the public because, quotes, humanity isn't ready and the aliens don't want to reveal themselves until humanity can evolve, he says, and understand what space really is. Well, the good news is that he claims an agreement has been reached between the US government and the aliens, a contract to do experiments here. There's also, he says, a secret underground base on Mars where there are American and alien representatives. Now, this former head of a branch of Israel's defense ministry is 87. He was very well respected, at least until now. And he said all this in an interview with an Israeli newspaper in Hebrew, but it's really taken off after parts of it were published in English by the Jerusalem Post today. He says he's come forward now in the hope that his news will be accepted as true. He notes that if he'd made these claims 5 years ago, he would have been hospitalized, but now he says, I've got nothing to lose. Well, so far, President Trump has not tweeted about this, though remember a year ago he did set up the Space Force as the fifth branch of the US Armed Forces. Well, we did ask the White House, the Department of Defense and Israeli officials to comment. So far, they have not responded to the NBC News request, and I wonder if they ever will.
There you go. So it kind of adds layers and dimensions to all of this, doesn't it? But then, obviously, keeping on the topic of US presidents being aware of things and what they are and aren't aware of, another article has dropped by the New York Post this time, and it states that President George H.W. Bush knew of the 1964 alien contact with humans in New Mexico in a documentary. So this again adds a whole nother layer to it. So let's talk about this one, because this is just equally as interesting. So within the article, which was published on the 22nd of 2025, the article, obviously titled about President Bush and bylined by Shane Galvin, dives into the explosive claims from the same UFO documentary Age of Disclosure that fueled the recent TMZ story on Trump. And this piece spotlights testimony around the purported 1964 extraterrestrial encounter at Holloman Air Force Base in New Mexico, allegedly known to former President H.W. Bush, who served from 1989 to 1993. And like the TMZ report, it's tied to the promotional buzz of the film that is dropping, and which dropped on Amazon Prime on the same day. No new physical evidence is presented within these, and it's all based on insider interviews, but it adds fuel to the ongoing UAP disclosure debates, and as of November 24th, 2025, there's no corroborated information from official sources, and the story has rippled through media and social platforms. Now, here's the key points from said article. Talking about the incident first. So according to an astrophysicist, Eric W. Davis, a former Pentagon consultant on advanced aerospace threats, Bush confided in him during a 2003 private conversation about a secret event at Holloman Air Force Base. Davis claims that Bush described 3 UFOs approaching the base, with one landing and an interstellar being emerging to engage in a face-to-face meeting with the US military and CIA officials. Bush reportedly learned of this decades later, post his presidency, but was denied further details due to lacking need to know, despite his CIA director background from 1976 to 1977. Now, here's what Bush allegedly knew. So the article quotes Davis as saying Bush was flabbergasted by the info but couldn't share more, and ties this to a broader government secrecy, noting presidents are always briefed on UFO matters, echoing Davis's line, "I think that really is a naive understanding about how government works." Now, looking at this from a broader documentary revelation, The Age of Disclosure alleges covert legacy programs run by the CIA, Air Force, and Department of Energy and contractors to retrieve crashed UFOs and non-human bodies. Other interviewees include Hal Puthoff, who was ex-head of NASA's UFO program and A-tip physicist, who claims these bodies are recovered are not all the same type from various crashes, hinting at multiple alien species. And it also references to a 1988 Tic Tac UFO crash in Russia where an alien remains were allegedly recovered. And then implications, of course, the film argues this secrecy poses national security risk with calls for transparency, with Farrer predicting it could push the future president like Trump towards disclosure. So, 2 big articles dropping, obviously, around the age of disclosure. Yes, I am very well aware that these articles definitely would have been used to push the numbers and the ratings for this documentary. Absolutely. There's no two ways about it. But at the same time, they are moving the needle with people being interested in this topic. And I think that's what's important to remember here is that, you know, yes, we're talking about aliens. Yes, we're talking about UFOs. Yes, it's all about ratings and numbers, especially when Amazon wants to get the ratings in and the viewers in. But it's also a bit more than just that. And that's what we're starting to see with these documentaries and also with these articles. What do you guys think about all of this? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. While you're down there, jump to get the hell out of that like button and subscribe. And until next time, I'll speak to you later. Peace.